I'm Carey Pena, and this is Avondale Edge. We are standing here right now on the boulevard, an overnight success that was 20 years in the making. This is 400 acres of mixed-use space that will totally transform this city. It took big vision from city leaders to make this happen. How does a big dream like this become a reality? We sat down with the mayor and other city leaders inside this sports complex to talk about the boulevard and beyond. Tell us about where we're sitting here right now, because this really was the starting point of something massive that's going on here in Avondale.
So you're sitting on one of the basketball courts of the Avondale Sports Center, the Randall McDaniel Sports Center, named for a hometown hero. We knew we needed a place that drew people in and start building from there. And because Avondale is such a young community, we decided that a sports center would make the perfect sense. And Avondale City Council at the time put together this plan along with leadership. And where you're sitting is the culmination of that vision. And pre-COVID, we drew about 500,000 people a year. We're hoping to get back up to those numbers again. So think about that, 500,000 people coming to Avondale every year for youth sports.
Ken, talk to me about the boulevard. What is it? The development is something really, really visionary.
The boulevard is the city's mixed-use entertainment, retail, multifamily, residential, live, work, play community.
How big a deal is this?
It's big, and people say, it's only 400 and something acres. How big can it be? You have to understand where Avondale was 20 years ago and where it is now. And for us to have the NASCAR championship, not 1 year, not 2 years, but 3 years in a row, the eyes of the nation when it comes to sports, and in many parts, the eyes of the world who are big race fans, are looking at our city.
You're building out an urban structure, so there's some really cool things going on, but also very family oriented. How important is that?
It's very important. You have to have that mix. If you don't have that mix, then you alienate one group or another. And if you listen to the residents, if you listen to what they say, they'll tell you that although we appreciate growth, we also want you to keep in mind what was here prior to that growth. In terms of small business, with the sports complex and other restaurants and bars and multifamily housing, that then spurs on the opportunity for those folks to then shop or patron these small businesses, which is so important, because as we start to develop as a city, and as Ken gets out there and is so aggressive on bringing people on board and businesses, it's also important to keep that smart development.
And I think, Carey, when we talk about that, I think one of the things that Council had many years ago was a vision of having small business, have small restaurateurs being a part of what we're trying to do throughout the entire city. And chains play a role. There are some great chains out there and people know them by heart and know them by name. But the truth is how do you bring in that chef that has been working at a chain or working at a resort for many years and they say, you know what, I want to take that next step. And COVID has pushed a lot of those people to have that vision. They're saying to themselves, okay, my hotel shut down, my restaurant shut down, I want to be in control of my life. And what you're seeing is you're seeing a lot of small restaurants and new places that are opening up. We talk about Trapper Sushi out of Washington, their first location outside of Washington. Barrio Queen, how many people did we have on the Facebook?
In the first 2 hours, we had, I believe, 13,000 views in the first 2 hours.
On the Facebook Live.
The Facebook Live. When we did the ribbon cutting for Barrio Queen, we had 13,000 people who wanted to be a part of what was happening in Avondale. And I don't know if you would have gotten that with a big chain. It's that small business where they walk in and people know who they are, they know their name, they know their family story, they know what they like to eat, they know what they like to drink, but more importantly, they know they're reinvesting in the community that they're located.
What does that mean, the phrase boulevard and beyond?
Boulevard and beyond. The boulevard, I think, is the first step. It's the first step to really flex our muscle and to show what we can do as a city. I think there's a quote that the mayor uses that I love. For many years, everybody told us what we were going to be, and now we're deciding. I'm paraphrasing here, but now we're deciding what we are going to be on our own.
And Mayor, to that point, I know that there were a lot of naysayers when you were thinking about this complex. How was it going to come about? And people were kind of like some eye rolls here and there, like, they're not going to get this done. But here you are, and you're getting it done.
Yeah, it's been amazing being almost 20 years on council. And Ken's right. I can remember people saying to us when we'd go after development, yeah, you guys can't support that. Your demographics can't support that. We think you guys can handle this. Who are you to tell us what we can handle? We will decide what our future looks like. And I will tell you, there were many years, I mean, during the recession, it was tough. But we stuck to our guns, and we stuck to who we knew our people were. Not our people, not just in the city of Avondale, not the employees, but the residents, what they were looking for. We go out and talk to our residents. We are engaged with our residents. We know what they're looking for. And it was more retail opportunities. It was more restaurants. It was more things for young families to do. And that's why you see us investing in all these regional parks. But they told us, we don't want all these massive chain restaurants. We want small businesses. We want people who we know. And that's what you're seeing. And you're right, there were a lot of naysayers. There were a lot of cities around us who said they will never do that. And I will tell you that I get mayors who tell me all the time, how did you get that business? How did you land them? Because we stuck to our guns and we never changed who we wanted to be.